color grade and chill with me. This might be a long video. I have made some power grades to make this video somewhat shorter, so I would recommend getting something to drink. For me, it's coffee. Anyways, let's jump into DaVinci Resolve. I'm going to talk about these luts, film tone luts that I'm using, DCTLs that you will get with this pack. Now, I got no affiliation with this whatsoever. I bought this with my own money. Unfortunately, I don't have any discount codes. I'm just making this video because I love how this color grading process is making my footage look. And I've got a few questions or comments on my color grading. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about on how I have been using these D-LUTs, film tone LUTs, and the DCTL that you get with this pack. Now, if you aren't familiar with what a DCTL is, a DCTL is a DaVinci Color Space Transform Language. It's another way of coloring your footage, and I actually recommend using this way instead of using LUTs. It kind of reminds me of grading footage in Lightroom almost. We have sliders, things are a little bit easier to see and do. And for the sake of this video, I just want to say that using the DCTL that comes with the film toned LUT pack, actually I'm not 100% sure if it comes with the film tone LUT pack. I bought this back in the beginning of the summer, I believe. But this is like basically like the special sauce for your video that's going to make your footage look like a blockbuster film. I don't want to use the term cinematic, it's just overly used. So we're going to go with the term blockbuster. So we're going to jump into DaVinci Resolve. I have my footage laid out already, and I also have made these power grades, and I'm just going to go over on how I made the footage look like this with the power grades that I've made already. So let's jump on in. Okay, so I have a bunch of footage here laid out, shot on Red, shot on the Komodo and Gemini, the Nikon Z8, some anamorphic stuff, some wedding stuff. So this video is basically going to be like an overview of using this type of grading process on a lot of different type of style of content. We're going to start over here in the beginning. So now first off, my project settings for coloring, we are using project timeline color space with the Rec 709A, and the output we're using same as timeline. Now, for the sake of this video, I should have said this in the beginning of the video, but I'm not a professional colorist, nor do I think I'm a professional colorist, but I'm just talking about a video on how I color grade my stuff. Now, this can be right or it can be wrong. I'm sorry if it is wrong, but it works for me. Okay, so this is what I'm using, and we are editing in a 4K DCI timeline. So I got some fitness stuff here. This was shot on the Komodo, and I believe this was in slow-mo. So we're just gonna make this slow-mo so then we have more of an option to look at in the video. So we're gonna go into color tab, and right here's where all of my power grades that I've made, it duplicated them for some reason, not 100% sure. So for this fitness video, I got my power grade right up here. So I'm gonna just drag and drop it. And for the sake of this video, which I should have said in the beginning, there's only gonna be 3 nodes. We can use 4. I'm gonna be talking about the 4th one as well. So what we're going to want to do is in the beginning of our footage, as we see, this is regular log footage, red log 3G10, I believe. So we're going to drag and drop this. Now we got 3 nodes. So the first node, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you this way instead of going up to my LUTs because it might be difficult. But I'm going to keep this open here for the DCTL and all the LUTs that come in the film tone LUT pack. So we're going to right click on the first node, go to LUT, and we're going to go to the D-LUTs DCTL. That's just what the folder is called. And the first thing we're going to have to do is transform our footage with the log transform LUTs that are provided in this LUT pack. So you can tell I already did in log 3G10. If we didn't do that, so this is what it looks like with the transform with the log 3G10. And then this is what it looks like out of the camera. So we have 3 LUTs. So this is going to be the transform grade node. You can label it, but I'm not going to do that for the sake of this video. Now this one here, this is where we're going to select our LUT. Now in the LUT, we have 2 options. We have the film tone 3 and then this other film tone. So the LUT that I picked, if I go up to the D-LUTs, D-LUTs film tone 3, let's see. So I used this one here. Now we can choose whatever one we want. We could even go with that one. That one actually looks even a little bit nicer. And then I'm just gonna play this back and just to show you guys on what this looks like. This was for a fitness film that I was doing for Kinetic Lens. We got just Michelle walking, your typical fitness, pulling the hair. Make sure it's tight. Trying to adjust exposure. And then boom, I'm going to pause it right there because this is probably going to be the grab of where you want to look for the color and how it's going to overall look. So I'm happy with how this is. So this LUT I used the one that I can't pronounce. So I'm just going to show you guys. So Film Tone LUT 3, and it's the Astia Soft. Okay, now if we go to 1, you can see how it chooses a different look. Now all these LUTs are great. You don't need to use the DCTL, which I'm going to talk about right now, but the DCTL is just going to add that special sauce. Now if I take the DCTL off, we can see what it's doing. Now don't get me wrong, this looks like a good image as well. Let me go back. That looks like a good image as well right there. But now if we add the DCTL, we can just see that it adds a little bit more of a nice saturated contrast to the shadows and just in the overall look of our image. So DCTL, basically when you download or when you import these LUTs and stuff, you're going to have a DCTL. And how to find these DCTLs, we're going to go in library. We're going to get this DCTL, drag it here. And then once you do that, here, I'll just reset it for the sake of the video. We're going to go there and then DCTL list. This is where all the DCTLs that you have in DaVinci Resolve. The one that we're going to choose is a DLUTs post balance. Okay, now this is what I was talking in the beginning, a bunch of sliders. I just feel like this is just a better, easier look of grading footage because we can just slide it and see on how it affects our footage. So now where the special sauce is going to be with these 4 right here: Fujify, Codify, Chromify, and Immensify. So now if we do Fujify, we can see on what it's doing to our image. I'm just going to go to fit. Actually, we're going to make this a little bit bigger if we can. Okay, so we can see what it's doing to the image. It's adding like that blue blockbustery look to the bottom here. Now it's Fujify. We can keep that up, and then we could even use Codify, or if we want, we just take out Codify, take down Fujify, and then use Codify. Whatever look you're using, or if you want to use both, you keep them both up there, or just use a one. We'll keep them both up there. Chromify is just gonna like crush the shadows and give us a nice darker blue of an image. Now, if you want to adjust the temperature, there's another DCTL that we can do for this. And then if we want to do Immensify, this is kind of just, adding more colors to the image, making those whites look a little bit more creamy. So we could even keep it like that if you want. I'm just playing around with this. I'm actually fixing the color grade that I chose to use for this. And then we also have the film cast, which is just going to add a little bit of the cast. It's going to add a little bit of colors in the cast of the shadows. It's going to add, we have an option of using green, red, and then blue, of course. So right there, we have even a different look. I feel like this is actually better than the first power grade that I made in the video. Because we're in a different type of environment, this power grade necessarily won't work here. We might have to just adjust some stuff, bring this down a bit. Once you have your power grade set, you kind of have a base option on how you want your image to look. And that's that. So once you have made a power grade for a certain camera, you can keep using that power grade on other cameras, and then you just have to change the DCTL because sometimes there's things that just aren't obviously going to be the same in every scene. Now if we go back over here to DCTL and we go to pre-balance. More variety in this pre-balance DCTL. We're able to control temperature, tint, saturation, all that kind of stuff. Kind of the most important stuff. We're going to move on to some wetting stuff. Now, this was shot on the Red Komodo as well. So technically, I could bring this power grade over. I'm going to start from scratch for this part of the video. So this was on the Komodo, so luts DCTL, transform, and we're going to choose log 3G10. We're going to add another node, corrector, and then we're going to go and look for the LUT we want. Now that looks like a nice basic, almost Rec 709 LUT right there. Now what we can also do is we can do the pre-balance first, so then we can control our contrast so the image is not too contrasty, and then control the white balance. You can do whatever way you want, whatever works in your your workflow. This is just what is gonna work for me. So now we're gonna go to add another DCTL, and then we're going to go to the post. Now this is, like I said, this is where all like the film stuff kind of happens. Now, sometimes we don't even have to add this DCTL, because without that, right here is a good looking image. Or we can just choose one of the LUTs, a nice basic Rec 709 looking LUT right there. Now basically what we can also do is add the post balance one and just play with some of the characters that we are able to use here. I feel like that is nice right there. So this was shot in slow motion as well on the Red Komodo. We can grab still, go up to the gallery, grab this, bring this over here, and then we have the exact same power grade on the same kind of footage. Okay, so we're gonna move on to some fitness stuff indoors. This was also shot on the Komodo. So we're gonna start from scratch. Again, we're gonna go to LUT, luts, transform, luts, transform, red log 3G10. I'm gonna go up here, add LUT. Now it'll probably be better to name these so you know which one is what, but I like to make things hard for myself, and I'm not gonna do any labeling. Now we're gonna bump our ISO up a bit, maybe adjust the exposure, and maybe bring the white balance down just a bit. And then from there, we can choose different type of LUT as long as we have our picture locked in with the LUT that we want to use. I like that right there. We're gonna go with that because we have a nice light on our arm. And then we're gonna add the DCTL. We're not gonna do the one post DCTL. We're only gonna, or the pre-balance. We're gonna just do post balance. I feel like the contrast is a little too high. We're gonna go immense. Bring that down. And then right there. So I don't want to go too much because then sometimes it just might look like you're overdoing the image. So this is what it looks like without the DCTL, and then this is what it looks like with the DCTL. It's just adding a little bit of like that fine little film look to our image. I mean, it's fine without the DCTL because right there, that looks pretty good too. So now we're going to move on to some other fitness stuff that I shot in the summer on the Nikon Z8 in NRAW, 4.1K on the Nikon Z8. We're going to go up here to my gallery, look for that power grade I've made. Actually, we're going to go with this one because this one here is actually probably like one of the better shots. And boom. we're gonna change it. We're gonna keep it like that. So right now for Nikon, we go to LUTs, D-LUTs, transform, Nikon N log A. Now if you choose B, it's obviously not the one that we want. We want to go with A, Nikon N log A. And then the LUT, we can choose any kind of LUT. The LUT I have on there is nice. I don't really want to play around with the LUT because I'm happy with how that looks. And then the pre-balance, or sorry, the post-balance. It's just creating like nice, rich skin tones. Like look at the skin tones over here. I'm gonna grab that one. So now what we can do is we can go back to this footage here, because this was shot in the exact same spot. He was actually sitting on this bench, and I can just drag and drop and bring it on there. Now we can obviously play with some of the stuff if we want to make it a little bit different. And then also if you want to change the white balance, we can add the pre-balance first, or we can just do the pre-balance in our raw tab. I really love this on how this shot turned out with the power grade. It just reminds me of like a nice summery day fishing on the dock. I don't know about you, but I kind of like that. So we're going to jump into some of the Blackmagic Pocket original footage. And this is why I'm kind of making this video, because I uploaded a video last week. If you guys are interested in seeing that one, I'll put a link up here. It just talks about on how I'm able to get such a filmic looking blockbuster type of look on such an older camera. That camera produces such a great quality looking image, and that's why I'm just making this video, to demonstrate on how I got that look. So we're gonna jump with Sylvia on here, and we're gonna drag and drop the power grade that I used for her stuff, and we're just gonna go and find a nice shot, and we're gonna add that grade on there. Now if we look at this, we have a lot of nice texture. Mind you, we have some grain here. This can probably just be not exposed properly, but then we also have the option to upscale our footage to make it look like 4K or whatever, 8K. But as you can tell, I have the pre-balance on here, so we're able to adjust the temperature. I kind of like the warmer look, but then also like the darker blue, I'm going to say it again, blockbuster look. So yeah, I got to say, I really love the process of using James Miller's LUT pack. These are the film tone LUT packs and his DCTL. They just look very, they're very clean, and to me, it's like an easy way of grading footage. We'll see you guys maybe in another couple weeks or something.